With so many podcasts out there, shows can get lost in the shuffle. That's why we implore you to check out Too Many Captains. You can find us at amoviepodcast.com.
5 unique takes on Hollywood movies and culture. Find us on Twitter at It's a Film Podcast.
Check our intellectual deep dives into theatrical films. Find us on Instagram at Too Many Captains Productions.
Unique takes on soundtracks. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Too Many Captains Productions.
Find us at amoviepodcast.com on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. And now, here comes a new episode of Collateral Cinema.
I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Josh Berkey.
And this is Collateral Cinema and...
Victims and Villains.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Festivus, and happy whatever the hell you celebrate this time of year. Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and I don't remember anybody ever telling me that I had to fight for my freedoms and my civil liberties. But when they took that little baby Jesus and the cross away from the public lands, it just completely stabbed me straight in the heart. Let me tell you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is our Christmas episode. We are joined by Josh Berkey from the Victims and Villains podcast. How you doing, Josh?
What's going on, gentlemen? This is
pretty
the
good
tradition every year. The only holiday tradition I look forward to every year.
Yeah, I know. We've been doing this for like 3 years now?
Yeah, dude, it feels so crazy to think it started with The Grinch.
Yeah, exactly. And that was an interesting episode. I mean, sometimes I kind of forget that we even did that movie, you know?
It was a couple seasons ago, but
yeah. I mean, and then last season we did Silent Night, Deadly Night, the very first one. So we went the horror direction. And on this particular Christmas episode, I felt that we needed to kind of do something a little different, you know, just kind of veer away. I almost did the French movie Inside, but I don't know how y'all would have taken that.
Oh, I love French movies.
Oh, this is an extremely batshit insane French movie. Very, very crazy. I have it right here, actually.
Is it one of those new French extremity films like Martyrs?
Absolutely, yeah. This one right here, Inside, À l'intérieur.
Oh,
yeah.
Give it to me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is a gorehound movie right here, but it's a Christmas movie as well. It happens on Christmas Eve. So
damn. All right.
Yeah,
all
the
right.
whole thing occurs on Christmas Eve. So if Die Hard's a Christmas movie, this can be a Christmas movie. So
damn straight.
But this movie that we're doing this year is a War on Christmas movie, guys. And it's called Last Ounce of Courage. Now, Josh, what did you first think about when you saw this movie? I mean, give us your thoughts on this.
Well, so when you guys approached me in the summer, like we planned this, we started planning this on like what we were going to do in the summertime because you guys were like mapping out the season for you guys. And I Googled it and I was like, okay, like this doesn't really look like a Christmas movie, but in all fairness, we're not doing a Christmas movie this year for our crossover portion. We're bringing you guys into our Matrix series. So, Animatrix with these guys.
Yeah,
Animatrix.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So I have also, in having been friends with you guys for a while, been a fan of the show for a while, and seen you guys, what you guys bring to the Victims and Villains streams, I am always kind of surprised, and I always, 9 times out of 10, I'm always coming into a collaboration with you guys knowing it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I know, right? Like maybe the Grinch it might be a little bit of a
That was
exception.
That was
Exception?
that was a good movie. We had an overall positive review on that. And Silent Night, Deadly Night was interesting. I think there are definitely things that make it work, but this is straight up a bad movie.
In every sense
Without
of
a
the
doubt.
word. Yeah. Now I'm holding the DVD case to this movie. I'm going to put it up here. Like hopefully you're getting in the camera. Here's the front. Here's the back. What's missing from this?
Anything for Christmas. So like,
Yes,
Ash brought it up
exactly.
before
Christmas
we
is
started
missing
recording.
from this. What the hell? Go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna say, I was like, Ash brought it up before we started recording, and like when you Google this, because that's what I did. Like I had never heard of this movie before, and I'm honestly curious how many of your listeners have actually heard about this movie prior to this listening to this episode. But like, it feels like all of the marketing for this movie has to do with like the war on terror and kind of like, the fallout of losing people to war and kind of like how those families pick up those pieces. And that's what it is like for like the first like 20 minutes. And then when you're like, oh yeah, it's a war on Christmas movie, I was like, what?
Exactly. I mean, this is really, to me, I mean, it's more of just an American propaganda movie than anything. I mean, seriously, this cover right here, I would think that it was like a 4th of July movie.
Right?
Even the goddamn DVD menu, it has an American flag on it. There's no Christmas lights. There's no Christmas trees. I mean, now compare that to Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas, which just looks like somebody just vomited forth the entire fucking holiday just all over the place. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I mean, it's weird that you have these two movies kind of coming from the same place, but from a very divergent kind of angle, Like this is the more militaristic one, and Kirk Cameron's is almost like a weird pro-consumer, pro-materialism kind of movie.
Really? Oh, that sounds awful.
But yeah, this movie right here, though, kind of rubs me in the wrong way.
Are you telling me that Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas was on the table for this crossover?
It would have been, and I'm seriously considering saving it for next Christmas or something like that, because, yeah, that movie is actually a little more harmless than this one, I would say.
Okay.
I
haven't seen it.
This right here, this is more of your straight up typical Bill O'Reilly style War on Christmas bullcrap. He even makes a cameo in this movie, albeit in a TV broadcast. It's literally just footage from his old Fox News show.
All they watch is Fox News in this, by the way.
All of it. It's all Fox News.
It's all just Fox News. I want to say before we get any further, all right, we don't want to step on any toes. We know, Josh, you're a religious man, so
yes.
The angle that we're going at here is not a critique on Christianity, but so much as this evangelical conservative culture that has festered around Christianity. And even when I was religious, I always tried to distance myself from this kind of bullshit. You look like you want to say something.
Let me just say that. Let me just jump off of that, because I knew this was going to come up at some point, because it's like I am a man of God. So it's like this movie, it deals with a lot of, the church angle of Christmas, not necessarily the consumerism angle. And I am just going to say, put this out there, is that even as a Christian, I hate Christian movies because they cannot act. They are over exaggerated, blown out of proportions. And this movie is a perfect example of that.
Exactly. I'm curious, have you ever watched any like old school 90s Christian movies like The Buttercream Gang or Second Glance or anything like that?
No. But the earliest I got into was like the first Left Behind movie.
Oh, okay.
So no, I haven't seen anything from the 90s,
so
and I'm not looking forward to it.
So what are you trying to tell me? God's Not Dead is not cinema for you?
Oh no, that is an absolute masterpiece of cinema. It's like, I mean, let's just go ahead and take a chain email and turn it into a movie. That's literally what that is. It's chain email the movie.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like Christians, speaking as a Christian, like I think we're really good at a lot of things, and we're really terrible at a lot of things too. And making movies that are trying to quote witness to unsaved people is definitely one of our weakest areas.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a former Christian, so I'm very familiar with this particular flavor of Christianity. I mean, here in rural Texas, I mean, the evangelical side of things definitely has its roots in here.
So,
but
I think I have a unique perspective here too. Well, not unique per se, but different from yours.
Yeah.
I grew up in a Christian household as well, but nothing like this. My parents were very like middle of the road politically. Even the church that my parents go to is very progressive, especially for a Church of Christ.
Yeah.
I've always loved the people there. I always loved the church and the members of that community. I knew a lot of really nice people, preachers and pastors. I had a youth pastor who spoke at my graduation. He was the coolest dude. One of the elders did my parents' remarriage. So, I grew up around a lot of the better influences, but I've definitely seen this side of Christianity, and
yeah, this is pretty much the type of Christianity that I grew up with, more or less. Like, I mean, a little bit of a background on me. I am a Christian homeschool kid. So
one of those.
Yeah, I did the whole Becca thing and all that stuff. I mean, I ended up hacking the computer program anyways and giving myself good grades, but yeah, nice. I mean, this is what I'm just saying is that this is all too familiar to me, especially the really hyper patriotic flavor. So, I mean, it was no real surprise to me that something like the War on Christmas would rise from that.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. And like what's really what really boggles my mind too is that like much like Christians are like so against like Halloween, but yet we have trunk or treat. Christmas is also based on pagan roots.
Definitely.
And we need to address that because we say it as matter-of-factly every year that like this is the time of year where Jesus was born and we celebrate all this. And it's like, if you do your research, actually, like most scholars believe that Jesus was born in somewhere in like summertime.
Yeah, that's what I had heard as well. In fact, growing up in my household, despite us being a Christian household, we never celebrated Christmas as a Christian holiday. We never celebrated it as the birth of Christ. We always just celebrated it as, the Hallmark holiday kind of aspect of it. And we went to church every other week of the year, too.
On the flip side, for my family, like, this is a little tradition that my mom kind of passed down to her grandkids was... they celebrate Jesus' birthday, literally make a cake and put a candle on there and sing happy birthday to Jesus.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's a pretty harmless tradition, I think, it's harmless, but I mean, I'm just saying like, that's just kind of where I'm coming from there,
Who doesn't like cake though?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's an excuse to just make more cake, as if Christmas itself isn't an excuse to make a bunch of amazing sweets. Like, I want to try vegan baking and candy making next year. Not this year, but maybe next year, But anyway, yeah, this movie is interesting because the first thing that we really see is this fake footage from a VHS camera, and it's supposed to be like just this... all this video of their son and the girlfriend and everything, and he goes off to war and everything. It's like, nothing wrong with that inherently. If you serve your country, you did what you had to do. But I mean, it's just presented in a very schmaltzy way from the beginning. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Can I say something about this VHS footage real quick?
Yeah.
As a VHS collector, this seems like such an insult to me.
It is.
But it also, I can't like completely like poo-poo on them because like this movie came out like a few years before like the 80s, 90s renaissance where like we're starting to see a lot of like nostalgia take foot and be grounded. So we're getting a lot of movies like Censor and Mandy and Willy's Wonderland that are starting to really embody these like old school, like not necessarily horror, but like have that VHS aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I will say, though, for as much as I did not like this movie, I will give them credit for actually showing his death in the end. I don't know if you're jumping into spoilers yet. But
We're that's something that I wanted to get into a little later because I think that that's the single most batshit insane part of the movie, honestly.
Oh, that was metal as fuck.
Oh, it's metal as all fuck. It's like you just straight up showed a goddamn soldier snuff film, which, I mean, if you go on Reddit and go on like r/gunfights or something, you can see lots of video of our troops taking fire and shooting and whatnot, and even getting shot, unfortunately.
Well,
you know, but it's like this is just so out of left field because it's being used to over this war on Christmas. It's like, I mean, I understand the propaganda angle that's being taken here. I mean, they're just trying to make that connection. They're trying to tie the whole patriotism and, you know, the whole militaristic thing to Christmas, you know, and they're trying to install that real authoritarian angle to it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, you know, you mentioned the snuff film part earlier. I'm thinking, you know, well, that's not so far off from, you know, like Passion of the Christ is basically torture porn for Christians.
That's exactly what that is. That's pretty much a splatter movie.
hey, when I was growing up, I was like, this is awesome. And then the older I got, like the more like there are certain things within it that like actually like aren't biblical. Like, yes, like the through line of Jesus dying and stuff like that is 100% biblical, but then there are like things that like Gibson adds in for dramatic effect, and everyone's like, this happened, this is 100%. It's like, no, please do your research.
The thing about that is that's tied to the particular sect of Catholicism that Mel Gibson ascribes to, which it's
there
especially
are a lot of Catholic undertones.
It's the especially kind of
100%
anti-Semitic flavor of Catholicism, if you catch my drift. And I mean, which, as we know, Mel Gibson, we all saw what that led to. But but he was basing that off of not even the biblical version of that story. That was sorry, Ash. I just totally hit Ash in the head with a DVD. But it's actually based on something called The Passions of the Story of the Christ or something like that. And it was actually these visions from this nun named Anne Catherine Emmerich, this German nun. Okay. And it's more than likely was a bunch of bullshit. It was made up, more than likely, but that's kind of the weird little backstory to the Passion of the Christ, and that would be an interesting. I think that would be an interesting Christmas movie to do. One year.
It's an Easter movie, man.
It's an Easter movie. I think we could call it a Christmas movie as well.
Maybe
it's literally an Easter movie. It's about Jesus dying on Good Friday and resurrecting on Easter Sunday.
But I don't know. It's just funny to me to think of a bunch of people just watching Christian torture porn around Christmas. That's just funny to me. That's just the troll in me.
Look, even as a Christian, I watch that stuff year round. Saw is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, oh man, you should see my fucking DVD collection here. Like, I pulled out the aforementioned Inside. I have other movies like that. So, but back to this movie. I mean, some of the arguments that it makes, when it comes to the whole issue of, Christmas and Christianity in schools, especially, it's just so wrong. Like for instance, we're at the scene right now where the kid's name is Christian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Christian Revere. Oh, yeah, that's right. The name of these characters. First of all, their last name is Revere, and the kid's name is Christian Revere.
Wait. Did I not pay attention enough to this movie? Isn't it a train wreck that we just kind of gloss over the fact? Because, I mean, wow, that's like That's like a little bit too on the nose right there.
It's really on the nose. It's not even, there's not even subtlety involved there at all. I mean, yeah, I mean, and you just, once again, tying it back to the whole patriotism and Christmas thing, you know? So, I mean, they're just trying to force that round peg into that square hole, you know? But yeah, in this scene, apparently he gets in trouble for bringing his Bible to school, which no kid is going to get in trouble for that. That's the bottom line.
I mean, for God's sake, they can't even stop kids from coming in with guns.
Yeah, what makes you think they're going to keep him from bringing a Bible into school?
Yeah, honestly, like when that scene comes on and I was like, oh, he brought his like dad's like knife or something to school, and then they were like, oh no, it's a Bible. I was like, dude, like seriously, like I used to bring my Bible to school all the time.
I did too.
Pray.
Exactly. Yeah.
I used to pray at lunch, so it's like, dude, like,
it's a pretty normal part of high school these days, especially in rural towns like where we're at.
Everybody had one or two friends that brought a Bible to school, you know,
Yeah.
like that's a normal thing. I brought a Bible to school a few times.
Yeah, you could bring a Quran to school. You just can't, you know, the faculty just can't teach it and endorse it. You know,
Right,
they
and
just can't endorse. They can teach it in a educational setting, but not in a endorsement setting. You know.
Yeah, it would be one thing if he was like pulling it out in class or something, but he was just carrying it in his laptop and he pulled it out on lunch or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that doesn't happen. This movie has a giant persecution complex. That's all this movie is. It's just. That's what we mean when we say War on Christmas movie. This is literally that entire mentality.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't say Christmas anymore. And it's like, yes, you can celebrate Christmas. Everybody does. What you're calling Christian traditions aren't even Christian traditions. They're pagan traditions.
I will drink to that.
Exactly, man. I mean, that's like, honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth. The first time that I actually became aware of this movie was by way of the Cinema Snob. Because, I mean, he did an episode on this movie that is, like, absolutely hilarious. Like, and he actually goes into that. Like, he shows, at the time, he was living, like, a couple of blocks down from the Capitol in Illinois. And he was just like, look, it's literally, like, with a Christmas decoration on it, with a Christmas tree design. And also, he also brought up that, like, there's a moment where they're saying, like, nobody plays real Christmas music anymore. It's like, every town has at least 2 radio stations playing that nonstop for like a full 2 weeks, like all the way leading up till after New Year's Day.
Oh, no. See, here in Richmond, we have at least 2 stations that do it from Black Friday until December 26th. Like, no joke. It is all the time. And if you're lucky, you can catch a few Christmas songs, in rotation that'll start like within the first couple weeks of November. So like this movie, I feel like the biggest problem I have with this movie is that everything just feels apocalyptic and like over exaggerated on just about every part.
Yeah, it's just a ginormous mountain being made out of an incredibly tiny molehill. That's really what it boils down to.
Is that not just such a perfect representation of excuse me,
bless you,
some of the arguments that we've heard online? I mean,
oh, tell me about it, man. I mean, honestly, I have my own way of kind of mitigating this whole War on Christmas thing, especially if somebody gets, you know, kind of uppity about, you know, the whole Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays thing. For me, it's very simple. I just say, how you doing? How can I help you? And when I'm done, have a nice day. And if they say Merry Christmas to me, or they say Happy Holidays, or Happy Kwanzaa, or Happy Festivus, or what the fuck ever, Blessed Yule, or whatever, I'm just say thank you. Same to you as well. It's
like I don't know. I used to work in retail, and like I worked up till a couple years ago. I was also in food, so like I hated like December. Because like I never knew what to say, because like in my faith, like I'm fairly outspoken, but I'm also like, the more like I've done research and like I've really like refined my like what I believe, like I am kind of wanting to not necessarily shove my beliefs down your throat. If you don't celebrate Christmas, that's cool. Happy holidays encompasses everything.
Exactly.
That's the way I feel. Like, you know, if I know you celebrate Christmas, I'll tell you Merry Christmas. If I don't know what you celebrate, I'm going to say Happy Holidays. If you tell me Happy Hanukkah, I'm going to say it back to you. I hope you have a Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah,
because, you know, like, it doesn't fucking matter.
And it's always a very particular type of person that gets really angry about this, you know, like the Tucker Carlsons of the world or the Sean Hannitys, you know.
Yeah.
And their followers and whatnot. It goes all the way back literally to Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why it's fitting for him to be in this movie. It's like he's pretty much the grandfather of all of this bullshit. He's the godfather of it.
Is that sort of like Donald Trump showing up in Ghost Can't Do It?
Oh no.
Like this whole movie just seems like your idea.
Well, incidentally, this movie came out in 2016. Which was when he was elected. So this right here to me kind of has a kernel of that particular type of Trumpism, you know? You can almost really make a straight line between the two, to tell the truth.
Also, just want to throw this out there for listeners that this movie is streaming for free in its entirety on YouTube.
Oh, I believe that. It's like, God damn it, I spent $2 on this. I'm always spending my American money on these goddamn movies. God damn it.
Damn it, you're right. I don't know. It's kind of cool to have in the collection, though, and just be able to talk about like...
It is. I mean, then again, I have Old Fashioned right up there, and I despise that movie.
Ooh, yeah.
And by the way, Renegade Cut did an interesting episode on Christian romance movies that everybody should check out, and he goes into Old Fashioned.
But I think what's interesting... Go ahead, Ash. I was gonna say, I think what I'm gonna say is gonna be slightly off topic, but I think what's interesting to dissect about this movie is that this movie is both a Christian movie and a Lifetime movie encompassed in one, and that's a rare thing in Christian movies.
It really is. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying with the Lifetime feel. I mean, it's definitely not a Hallmark feel. Otherwise, it would actually be kind of happy-go-lucky.
True. This movie straight up shows a guy dying, like getting blown up.
I almost want to say that there's some moments where they really want to kind of go there, but it's just they just don't have it in them to, you know, take it all the way.
Their whole thing is it's time to make a stand.
Yeah.
Well, so I say Lifetime movie simply because of the way the production values look on this one.
I get that 100%. It definitely feels like it production-wise.
And I grew up watching Lifetime, so I can accurately make that decision and that call.
Oh man, I remember the era of television movies. Like they pretty much have their own little flavor, and that's kind of what's cool about Hallmark and Lifetime is that they've kind of continued that tradition a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, even with the same production values and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, this really does literally look like something you would see on TV. I mean, there's like no real cinematography to this at all. I mean, that's why we're not even commenting on that, because it's like, you know, what's cinematography? It's all very standard, you know? Kind of the same with Old Fashioned. It's just very unnotable.
They just played it very safe, you
know?
Played
it safe and played it very straight. It's like, okay, we get the shot. We get everybody in the shot. All right, let's go move on. You know, that's basically the best we can say about the actual production values as the cinematography is concerned. But the script, it's like, oh my God, this script.
Yo, so I want to comment right there because I'm like looking over my notes, and I know you guys are watching this movie as we're recording. I'm so sorry for you. But there's a scene early on where the grandfather, what's like the main guy's name?
Oh, something Revere.
Bill or Bob or something.
Bill
Bob.
So it's Bob. Yeah.
There's a scene after Bob's son dies where he's in like his like garage, and he's like kind of like reflecting on like his son, and he takes an American flag and covers his bike.
Yeah.
I don't know why that bothered me so much.
Oh man, I mean, and the entire time it's just that voiceover. It's like he's so morose about everything. He's like, our freedoms are being stripped away. Christmas.
I know. It's like, lighten the fuck up, dude.
I don't remember anyone telling me that freedom had to be fought for and defended. A man thinks different when it's his boy going into harm's way.
He gave his life for his country. What are we doing? What are you doing?
I've been sitting around here watching it disappear just like everybody else. What makes me any different than the next guy? It just does nothing. I had been a coward, passive, and even selfish. I kept thinking about my son. Now was the time to honor his sacrifice.
The mayor's bringing religion back to this little town.
This is the Hammer, Warren Hammersmith. Your mayor is not fully cognizant of the statutes that pertain to the separation of church and state.
You're all over the internet. We are having some major legal problems here.
Well, I'm very tired of not standing up for what I believe in.
You are breaking the law.
Show me the law.
Well, then you are violating the Constitution.
That is a lie, and you know it.
Council's made its decision.
Mr. Mayor, is it true you're fired?
I told you I'm behind you all the way.
The drama just continues to unfold here.
I secure Chris off the roof before someone gets hurt.
We can't be silent anymore. The silence has to stop today. We fight for freedom.
This is freedom.
It really kind of goes into the overall premise of this movie. That is another outrageous claim that it makes, is that nobody is literally celebrating Christmas. In this universe, like Christian Grey, he doesn't even know what Christmas is. It's like, what the hell, dude?
Okay. See, that's where I sorry to cut you off. That's where I'm like talking about with like Christians like over exaggerating like responses to everything, because like quite literally, like I have so many friends that are atheists or agnostic or just, believe that some of them are Buddhist or some of them are Jewish, like just many different faiths, many different denominations, and many believe many different gods or don't believe at all, that celebrate Christmas. Like,
yeah,
Christmas is not a Christian exclusive holiday. Like, yes, Christians, like to an extent, I don't say we claim it, but I don't know any other way to say it, but like we use it as a tool to talk about the birth of Jesus and kind of like reinvigorate the Christmas story. And it's the one time of year we seem to be openly talking about faith, but everyone celebrates Christmas regardless of what you believe. It seems like, at least.
It's a very non-denominational holiday, and what this movie is weird is that the universe this film takes place in, apparently non-denominational celebrations of Christmas just don't exist. I mean, take the school play, for instance, which is literally the nativity story, but replaced with aliens. You couldn't do any other Christmas story?
You call it the Christmas, the Winter Space Odyssey, like it is supposed to be.
That would have been fucking awesome.
That is a Winter Space Odyssey, and I want to make that happen.
That is a brilliant idea. I want to see it.
I want to make that happen. That would be amazing to put on a production with, like, just make a script and everything.
Yes.
That would be so incredible.
Dude, like the first time like I was watching this, I had to like actually rewind it. I was like, this is literally the nativity scene. Like, why is this like such a big deal if everyone in this universe is against it? Because you literally just changed names and places. It's the same exact freaking story.
Yes.
Yeah, it shouldn't even matter. And it's like, hey, why not kind of take an old story and give a new like angle to it? Like, why not?
Oh shit, here's the Hammer.
Oh no, the Hammer. That's right. Fred Williamson is in this movie. And he is literally called the Hammer in this movie. It's like they got goddamn Shaft in this movie.
But it's funny because he plays a character that's just apparently so ruthlessly trying to get rid of Christianity, and like that's a unicorn. It's a fictional beast. It doesn't exist. The main conflict in this movie actually comes between the mayor of the town, Bob, wanting to put up Christmas and like nativity decorations and whatnot in front of what is actual city property, and that I'm kind of like on the side of. I'm like, dude, like, yeah, you're in a public position. You probably shouldn't, display public offices, with your faith, keep that at home. But at the same time, like, look at the fucking Bandera courthouse, they have a nativity scene put up.
Yeah, exactly.
And Christmas trees and Christmas related decorations would never be a problem.
Of course not. No, the funniest thing about that is that they have a nativity scene, a bunch of cowboys and steers and Christmas trees all over the place. Make of that what you will. I don't know. It's absolutely batshit. But yeah, and might I also bring up the fact that not only is Bob the mayor of this town, he's also somehow the pharmacist? How does that work?
There's a point in the movie where when Fred Williamson's character is first introduced and he's like, he's calling, he's like, all right, I need to speak to the mayor. He's like, oh, well, he's out. He's at his other job right now. He's like, all right, well, give me the deputy mayor. He's like, we can barely afford our part-time mayor. I think it's just trying to emphasize the fact that this is like a very small town.
It doesn't even feel like that small of a town, though. I mean, it feels like a very middle-sized town, honestly, kind of mid-sized.
Yeah, like a nice, like, Midwestern, like, not quite small town, but, like, not quite large city. Like, it feels like that nice, like, common ground.
Yeah, it's big enough to have local biker gangs doing criminal stuff, apparently.
Well, and see, you and I, Bo, like, we know, like, we live in a small town, okay?
Uh-huh.
And we also live only about 20 or odd so miles from the 7th largest city in the U.S. So, like...
yeah.
This
Can we
movie...
talk about the biker gang?
Yeah, let's talk about that biker gang because that is the most out of left field thing ever. Like, first of all, what's with the little person as the leader? Was that just to have a little person and that's it?
So, dude, like I was thinking the same thing because like when they like came into the pharmacy and you're introduced to Bob, he's like, all right, like all right. So my first thought was in his grief, he's now turned to some pretty shady stuff.
Yeah.
And then he's like kind of like, talking to this like biker gang, like fathers disciplined their offspring on like 80s and 90s like sitcoms.
Yeah. that makes no sense.
Like, okay. And then like later on there's a scene where they're all in the bar and they're showing the TV and he's just like the leader of the gang's like, everyone quiet down. The mayor's on TV.
It's like, yeah, what is this link between the mayor and the local biker gang? I mean, obviously they're doing something criminal. I mean, they initially go to the pharmacy because one of their members was shot. Tried to say that he shot himself. It's like, he tried to say he shot himself, and it's like, no, he didn't shoot himself. There's no way.
I would love to hear love to see like the story that led up to that moment. And like, because you're absolutely right. Like, there's no way that someone's just like accidentally like shoots themselves like that.
No, I mean, it can happen, but not in the area where he had it, man. Like, usually it's common if somebody shoots himself, it's in their leg or in their foot, usually by a holstering or whatnot. But yeah, they were doing some shady shit, and he just patched them up and just left them on their way. And then this is the mayor of this town.
Yeah.
It's like, and there's like, what, one cop in this town? Like, and that's Rusty Joyner.
Oh, yeah, who wants to bang his dead best friend's wife.
Yeah, it's like I was kind of expecting in the snuff film part, he was just like, bro, don't do it, bro. You better not, bro. Don't you even think about it, bro. Don't you even fucking think about it. It's like, it's like, oh, and by the way, you better not be boning my wife, John. You better not. You just better not. Don't even think about doing it.
It's coming back from beyond the grave.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was kind of expecting that to happen. But yeah, I mean, this leads to some other interesting moments in this movie. Like, I love that scene where, you know, he's putting up the Christmas tree and everything, and there's all those protesters, and Fred Williamson is just standing there, just smoking a cigar, just like, like looking like motherfucker. It's like straight up. Like, I was waiting for him to drop an F-bomb in this movie.
Dude, I'm so sad that Fred Williamson found himself in this movie. But there's like this like weird like trend that happened in like the early 2000s where like really respected actors from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, or like even like cult actors somehow found themselves in these like direct-to-video films like this movie.
Especially Christian movies, like for instance in the God's Not Dead movies. I mean, you have Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
And also in the second movie, you had homeboy from Twin Peaks, and you also had Ernie Hudson. You had goddamn Winston in that fucking movie. He was the judge. It's like, and who was in the third movie? I don't remember. I don't think they had
Melissa Joan Hart.
Oh yeah, and Melissa Joan Hart, exactly. Her as well. But and, you know, that's a dumb movie in its own right.
in their defense, like I'm pretty sure Melissa Joan Hart is. I mean. And I know Kevin Sorbo is definitely, but like some of those actors like actually are like people of faith.
Yeah.
So like they are not only tending to their demographics, but staying in line with their own convictions.
Well, if you go and look at what Kevin Sorbo likes to tweet most of the time, it's like y'all realize he made an Antifa movie, an anti-Antifa movie.
Really?
He did. It's called The Reliant. It's like all like gun control and whatnot, and like I'm a crisis actor and whatnot. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
Oh God!
It's like
did not know that.
Yeah, it came out, and yeah, he's totally the lead. I heard that he doesn't live very long in that movie, but we gotta fucking see it.
Okay,
that's something we have got to see.
But what was that Gene Roddenberry series he was in that was made like posthumously?
Oh,
it was a sci-fi series.
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, I forget what it was called.
Forget what that was called. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what is Fred Williamson doing in this movie, and the actor who plays Bob himself, he was in Roadhouse.
Really?
Yeah, he was in Roadhouse apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now we're here at the scene where the kids are coming together to make their Operation Christmas, and the best part of that is that they immediately try to change the name. They try to take Christmas out of their Christmas operation. It's like so beautiful. It's beautifully
honestly,
ironic.
Out of all the names that are in that scene, Operation Sabotage feels the most appropriate.
Yeah.
Because like, and they're just like, oh yeah, Operation Christmas. Like, it's just like, no, that not only feels too cheesy, but also too on the nose. Whereas Operation Sabotage both sounds like ominous and like fitting for what you're doing.
And they could have played the Beastie Boys over it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Beastie Boys makes anything better. If they would have played that in this movie would have been top notch.
Hey man, that's why Star Trek Beyond was so memorable for me. Just that Beastie Boys.
Just using sabotage.
Scene,
Hell yeah, man.
And they
Hell
actually
yeah.
used it in plot. That was great, man.
That was great. Now I have to say there's this weird relationship between Christian and this girl. Like who's this girl?
She is the daughter, or she's like a neighborhood friend, but the actress who plays her, she was in Dickie Roberts, if you remember that, Jim.
Oh, no shit, really? Dickie Roberts? Oh, no
Jenna
kidding.
Boyd, yeah.
Yeah. But I have to say the way that she's presented, she's like the coolest bro in this entire movie. She's a total bro.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, while you're on the subject of the play, we gotta talk about the drama teacher, man.
Oh yeah, that drama teacher, so pretentious. He thinks that, like, first of all,
it's like, dude, you're in a high school play. You're directing a high school play. You are a theater teacher. But this isn't fucking Broadway.
The best thing is that's not even his script. It's the principal's script.
Oh yeah,
the principal is the one who wrote the damn thing, and yeah, he's just this very stereotypical like failed Broadway actor / director, and I mean, of course, he's coded gay. Of course, he's effeminate and whatnot.
Exactly. See, he's the despicable villain that they get to lock in the closet at the end. You see what they're doing here? It's all manipulation.
Yeah,
yeah. No
Which
kidding.
It's very weird to me that they made that character choice on like how liberal this movie feels.
Yeah,
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I get my liberals and conservatives, my viewpoints mixed up, so I'm not political by any means.
Yeah. I mean, here we're now at this scene where he's riding with this this chuckle fuck, I guess we'll call him. We'll call him Bum Chuckle Fuck. And they're talking about how there is no real Christmas music being played. And, we went over that earlier, but I happen to work retail, and I'm just like, I'm fine with no Christmas music. I love this holiday. I actually really love Christmas. I'm not like a Scrooge or anything, but I will totally just, I'll have some apprehension towards listening to Christmas music.
I like some Christmas music, some of the classics.
How many times are you going to make the same 10 fucking songs?
I know.
I mean,
it's kind of part of the season. If you just, play those one time a year,
we're even getting to the point where now there's other people doing All I Want for Christmas Is You. It's like, no, make it stop.
I don't know. My Chemical Romance did a cover of it, and it was actually pretty badass.
My Chemical
Wait, did they really?
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, I was never a My Chemical Romance fan.
MCR is my favorite band to this day. So
I'm more.
That's what I grew up with, man.
I'm more of a hardcore and metal kid, so.
I mean, I kind of am too, but to your point, yeah, like the older I get, I feel like the more I identify with Scrooge this time of year.
Uh-huh.
And it's not because I necessarily hate the holidays. It's just like the traditions and like the expectations that come with those traditions kind of just become tiresome.
I can see that. I mean, I don't know why I've never really approached the holiday like that. I mean, I'm one of those atheists that does celebrate Christmas. I actually really enjoy it, and especially since, my siblings have had children. Like, I mean, it's kind of made Christmas a little more fun, of course, because it's more for them, it's for the kids and everything. But
I do Christmas, my daughter is really excited about Christmas. Like I said,
I'm sure she is.
My family always just celebrated it as a non-denominational holiday, to be honest, despite the fact that, we were Christian. So that's just kind of how I've always approached it. And it's that time of year that, you give presents to your family, and you get kind of a family gathering, and it's an excuse for us to actually kind of have a few people under one roof, which, given over the last couple of years, we haven't done a whole lot of that, obviously. So
yeah, I mean, the pandemic has kind of thrown that into what, I don't know what the word is, throwing it into the shitter a little bit. But I don't know. I mean, we normally have some pretty fun Christmases, honestly. But apparently not in this universe. There's just no Christmas being celebrated anywhere, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that we've probably gotten into most everything about this movie. Oh, let me point out the fact that this is a Chuck Norris approved movie.
Please tell me you're joking.
No, it says so right here on the back of the DVD. It's Chuck Norris approved. Absolutely. It even has a silhouette of him with the cowboy hat and the beard and everything.
Man, I used to do all the Chuck Norris jokes, but I don't know. After seeing him get his ass kicked by Bruce Lee,
and he's also kind of a homophobic prick as well. He's kind of a fascist prick.
I've heard that.
Yeah, he's almost like on like Ted Nugent level, except not a pedo. Yes, that's right. Ted Nugent is a pedo, ladies and gentlemen. Let that sink in. But yeah, Chuck Norris approved. It has Fred Williamson in it, and goddamn, this movie sucks, right, guys?
Oh, 100%. This isn't necessarily the worst movie I've seen this year, but it's high on that list.
Yeah. I think the biggest crime that it really commits is that at its core, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
it's very boring propaganda. I mean,
at least God's Not Dead was entertaining. It held your interest. It was ambitious in its cinematography somewhat.
And then it had the Newsboys at the end, which is just the cherry on top. It was like, that is absolutely one of the greatest, cheesiest Christian bands ever.
But I gotta agree, this one's just boring. It plays it safe in so many aspects, and the rest of it is just straw man propagandist bullshit.
Yeah, definitely. Josh, what are your thoughts on this movie? Your final thoughts?
I think what this movie does really wrong is I can respect a lot of the values that it tries to instill into its viewers, but it comes across way too preachy and way too over exaggerated to the point of, like Ash said, like it becomes like boring, like eye-rolly, and like honestly, like I was constantly checking my phone on like how much longer do I have left on this movie. So
yeah, it moves at a glacial pace in times, you know? I mean, you're just like, wait, how long are we into this movie? It's like, we were only 15 minutes into this movie? What?
By the way, what was the worst movie you watched this year? Because now I'm curious.
All right.
You had to have that something in mind when you said that.
I dude. All right. So since this is a movie that came out of outside of this year, I will go to the worst movie I've seen this year that and speaking of Lifetime, is a 2002 movie. I don't know if it's direct to video, but it's called Hobbs End, and it is what would happen if Lifetime was able to make Misery.
Oh,
it is
no.
absolutely miserable.
Oh
God,
no! A Lifetime version of Misery.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the worst thing that we watched this year was probably Double Down, which we just watched.
Yeah, Double Down was...
Or Bolero. What do you think was worse?
No, Bolero was more excruciating.
You're right. No, Bolero was worse.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I just remembered. Okay.
No, I wish we could unremember that movie. And I have that up there, and I spent $20 on it, and I'm so angry about that.
I'm so sorry. This is why you should go to renting or look on to online
but you
purchases before physical.
I'm a glutton for collecting bad movies. I mean, I don't know. It's an addiction, man.
He has a collection going on. Now, me, I'm not a physical media guy. I'm definitely a digital guy. I look for where can I stream this? If I can't stream it for free somewhere, how much can I rent it for? You know, whether that's on Apple or on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, at least with this movie, I only spent a couple of bucks.
Yeah, and it's fun to have in your collection. It's one of those movies that I mean, if you really have nothing else to do, I guess this will be my final thoughts here. But you know, if it's the holiday season and you're high and you've got nothing better to do, you could put it on as background noise and laugh at it every few minutes or something. You know, like
yeah,
it's such a caricature of just that entire culture. But at the same time, like, I know people that are exactly like this. So,
oh yeah, I'm already kind of going on the local Facebook groups and just kind of spreading a bunch of, War on Christmas memes. They're just like, yeah, that's right. We're fighting the war on Christmas. Hell yeah.
But yeah, this movie is not entertaining. It's beyond, that I guess small value. It's just it's got propaganda all over it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much else there is to say. I mean, I feel like we've been beating ourselves over the heads lately. December's a bad movie month. I just did Superman 64 on Collateral Gaming.
I'm so sorry.
So, I just feel like what are we doing to ourselves?
Well, it's going to get better. We're going to do the Collateral Cinema Director's Cut Christmas episode, and that's going to be focused exclusively on the Cinema Snob. And we're also going to review his movie Jesus Bro, which we are going to at least rent that movie. Like I do want to give Brad, money for that because
give him your money.
Yeah, I mean they put a lot of money and a lot of time into making that, so it's only fair, of course. This movie I do kind of wish we could have just fucking streamed for free. Yeah, I mean, next time I think that I'm going to take that advice,
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, but I guess with my final thoughts, is somebody needs to make the Winter Space Odyssey a thing. 100%. Somebody needs to make that a actual high school thing, because it would be the funniest thing ever to me. Just don't show a soldier snuff film at the end. You know?
Yeah, there are a few things that like this movie does that just kind of catch you off surprise, where I'm just like, and that's kind of why I say that like this movie does have some entertainment value, because you look at things like the biker gang, like the ridiculous character decisions, the characters of like the teachers, but also like the ending with his father's like bombing video. Like there are just these like random moments that just kind of catch you off guard, and you're like, okay. But then like you get to the rest of the movie, and you're just like, man, like is this thing almost over yet? Please be done.
Yeah,
this movie never ends.
No, it doesn't.
That's what it feels like. Like you said, Josh, you know, it's entertaining at certain parts, but the movie just drags on so much at others that it barely even holds that value. But I mean, I've had fun riffing on it, at least. How about you guys?
Oh man, I mean,
yes,
this movie is definitely worth, you know, at least checking out, you know, reviews on it first, you know. Like I recommend the Cinema Snob episode, of course, but also, you know, look up some other reviews before you watch this, you know, just see if this is your cup of tea. But otherwise, I mean, would I recommend this movie? No, not at all. Like, emphatically no. I would recommend Double Down just for, you know, its value of being a Neil Breen movie.
Of it being a Neil Breen movie,
you know,
yeah.
But even that's a pretty excruciating movie. And he actually kind of gets better over time while still being Neil Breen.
Yeah. How does that work? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I just know that Fateful Findings is far more entertaining than Double Down somehow.
But yeah, we're doing Double Down this month, or maybe that's already out by the time this is out.
It'll be out by the time that this is out.
And what else? Bolero should be out already,
Bolero,
too.
yeah.
Which we did
that.
with Shocked and Applaud.
Shocked and Applaud, and yeah, oh, that movie. Oh no. Oh, I still think they really need to give that 14-year-old a fucking bathrobe. Seriously. Yeah, it's that kind of movie.
But Mr.
So
Captain Nostalgia, where can our listeners find Victims and Villains?
Yeah, so you guys can find us right now. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, all under Victims and Villains. You guys right now can go to victimsandvillains.net, where you guys can find podcasts, movie reviews, become a Patreon, and our mental health resource library. And I'm just going to plug this anyways. If you guys are a filmmaker, we are doing our first ever film festival right now. You guys can go to filmfreeway.com/horrific hope film festival, where we're going to be doing horror-centric, mental health focused April 29th and 30th, 2022.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. We had a movie that, you know, Robert produced and everything that was on the little mini film festival that you had on the last awareness-a-thon on Halloween. So that was interesting.
Yeah, when we did the Horrific Hope, yeah.
Yeah.
We had Killing Night out.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
It was an interesting film, and it was actually a lot better than I remember it.
We all worked on that, actually, in some. It's mostly Robert's film, but we all kind of put our hands in that.
And we are currently in production in a movie that Robert wrote and is produced and is acting in.
Texas Sundown.
And
by the way, I'm the co-star, you know, the second lead of the upcoming short film.
Yeah.
Texas Sundown. So, you know.
Yeah, so check that out.
So, you know, just watch about the way you talk to me, okay? Watch the way you talk to me.
Right on.
I'm still waiting on that.
Yeah. We're definitely going to have it out very soon.
Yeah.
But
yeah, anywho,
what's up with Collateral Gaming?
Collateral Gaming just got out our episode on Superman 64. This month, we're going to be combining our anniversary and holiday specials for a 2-part look on Zelda Twilight Princess. So I'm glad to really talk about a good game. Might even make December a Zelda month, to be honest, because, you know, Zelda games tend to come out during the holiday season, and we are doing a Zelda game once every season at this point. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense, honestly.
But yeah, we're going to talk about Twilight Princess. I'm really excited to talk about it. It's my co-host Megan's favorite Zelda game. It's up there on my top 5 list. And then we'll be coming back in January with Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. That's right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about that one too. I love the Mario and Luigi RPG series. It's a good spinoff.
And just recently, I got you started on playing Final Fantasy VII, right?
Yeah. At some point, we'll do a Final Fantasy VII plus Final Fantasy VII remake review.
Yeah, and I'm going to be
that.
on that because, like, I'm pretty much like practically an expert on Final Fantasy VII. Practically, you know, I know that game like the back of my hand. So, like, I mean, it'll be a lot. It'll be a lot of fun, you know, going back and playing through it, and you know, like especially seeing somebody who hasn't actually seen this game or played it, like play through it. It's really interesting. Like, I mean, I actually wanted to maybe even live stream some gameplay, but like I don't know how we could do that.
Well, Josh, I know Megan had mentioned this to you before, and maybe we'll talk about it after the show. But I know, she had an idea. Was wanting to see if you guys wanted to have some involvement in our episode on Hellblade, which is kind of a mental health focused game. But
what is it? What game is it?
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. It actually just got a sequel announced, Hellblade 2.
Nice.
Oh, we can talk about it after we get done, but more than likely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, in January, what's coming up with Collateral Cinema?
With Collateral Cinema, we are going to be getting into some 90s movies, I believe.
That's right.
It's a couple movies that Robert picked. The first one is going to be Last Action Hero. You know, that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be our first real Schwarzenegger film.
Hell yeah.
And the other one is a 90s television movie called Born to Run, which is going to be really interesting.
Those are both of Robert's picks, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm going to say they're not necessarily 90s movies. They're just more like action movies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that'll be fun. And hey, man, if we ever do a Nicolas Cage movie,
yeah,
we should reach out.
That's not praise.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Didn't you just watch Vampire's Kiss recently?
I did. I watched it for personal. We covered it about a year ago.
Nice.
And man, that movie is something else. I'll tell you what.
I'm still trying to find it, man. I can't find that anywhere.
Dollar Tree, dude.
Dollar Tree?
My copy, yeah.
Seriously? I'm going to have to go look for it. If it's that simple to find. I mean, yeah. Fuck it. But yeah, that's what's coming up in January. And in February, that's going to be our anime month. You know, Cowboy Bebop the movie and Princess Mononoke with the Retro Anime Podcast. And yeah, that's what's going to be coming up after the first of the year. We do hope that everybody has a happy and safe holiday season, Christmas season, or whatever you celebrate.
And stay tuned for our collaboration on the Victims and Villains side when we talk about Animatrix.
With the Animatrix, that's going to be a lot of fun. I remember when I first got the Animatrix, man. Like, that was a really, really cool little...
I watched a couple of the shorts several years ago. I don't remember, but...
Honestly, you need to just watch all of them. It's top-notch animation.
Yeah, I love The Matrix, the original film.
Yeah.
So...
But, is there anything else that anybody wants to add before we go? Nope, we're good. All right, then. I'm Bo Maddox.
I've been Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Josh Berkey.
And this was Collateral Cinema with Victims and Villains. Have a happy holiday season. And, I mean, I guess Christmas greetings or something. I don't know. Whatever. Good night, everybody.
Don't get COVID.
Don't get COVID. No. Laters.
What would you do if you were asked to give up your dreams for freedom? What would you do if asked to make the ultimate sacrifice? Would you think about all them people who gave up everything they had? Would you think about all them warnings, and would you start to feel bad? Freedom isn't free. It costs folks like you and me. And if we don't all chip in, we'll never play that bill. someone told you to fight for freedom, would you answer the call or run away like a little pussy? 'Cause the only reason that you're here is 'cause folks died for you in the past. So maybe now it's your turn to die kicking some ass. Freedom isn't free because folks like you and me. And if we don't all chip in, we'll never pay that bill. Freedom isn't free. No, there's a hefty fucking fee. And if you don't throw in your bucko fare, if you don't throw in your bucko fare, ooh, bucko fare. Freedom costs a bucko fare.
Collateral Cinema is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and movie clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.